Well, I already made one video about this yesterday, but I had some misinformation at the time, so I thought I'd make a new video about it. This is well, this particular one at least, is an early 1997 Power Computing PowerTower Pro 250. It is an ATX style with a proper ATX power supply, Mac clone. Power Computing was bought by Apple to effectively end the Mac clone movement, and that is thanks to Steve Jobs. They decided can't boot them, so may as well buy them, pretty much. And I think that was done someplace around the time that the G3 came out. In fact, Power Computing was getting ready to release their own G3 clone with a PowerPC 750 in it, aka the G3, at like 250 or 266 megahertz, and Apple wanted no part in that, so they bought it straight before that and pretty much effectively ended any sort of plans for that. These Power Computing boxes, these power towers, usually came with about 32 megs of RAM, which are in 168-pin SIMs. I don't know if you can see that too well in this light, but there are quite a few of them. There's about 8 slots full of them over there. Well, mine has like 6 full, but beggars can't be choosers. Came with a PowerPC 604E, clocked at, well, this one's 250 megahertz, 250. 50 megahertz bus, with the RAM, 1-to-1 on that, I guess. Usually half a meg of level 2 cache on a cache card, and 200-watt power supply. Normally they come with like a 2 or a 6 gig hard drive. Mine came with a 6 gig hard drive, a 2 gig hard drive, and an 18 gig hard drive. This particular one came with an adaptive SCSI card with that fine little connector on the back for, I guess, was some sort of a jazz drive or something. It's got wide SCSI there. There's 2 wide SCSI ports on the board itself. One of them is fast SCSI. That's the one that all of the peripherals here are plugged into. Came with USB 1.1, a FireWire card, which I have taken out because it's a Sonnet branded one. No, I'm sorry, it's not Sonnet branded. Duh. It's Orange Link, and the fun thing with Orange Link FireWire cards is that you have to have an enabler, a patched enabler, so that it doesn't cause random system hangs. So I have taken the liberty of removing that to prevent any more system hangs in weird spots. This card right here is a Twin Turbo 2 128M8 with, I would have to guess, 8 or 16 megs. It's got memory cards going all the way down the board and all the way to the back, so I'm guessing it's probably 8 or 16 megs, depending on how much space those RAM chips have. I really don't know. Uses the same RAM deck as the Matrox Millennium and Matrox Mystique cards. And, yeah. This card right here is an Intel Pro 100. I tried just dropping it in to see if it would work. Nope. Turns out I need a completely different card. There is no Mac drivers made for that particular card or any of the other cards that I have that are 10100. So I have to see about those. I can get an Asante DEC 21140 based one for about 10 bucks on eBay, so I'm going to do that. That way I have 10100 in this thing, because on board it has double AUI and 10 megabit RJ45 twisted pair. That's not the fastest of things that I want to have on, well, a predominantly 100 megabit network. I have excuse me. I have gigabit capable machines and stuff, but it's predominantly 10100 down here in the basement. So let's go into what this machine currently has in relation to, okay, you've heard what it originally came with. My machine has 6 or 7 out of 8 RAM slots filled. It has 384 megs of RAM. That's all 64 megabyte cards, so do the math yourself. We've got the one 18 gig drive there. I have a 1 gigabyte IBM branded hard drive of some sort of thing. I would guess it to be Western Digital based on that, unless that's just regular WDC, not Western Digital, but the other one. It's been a while, I can't even name it, but WDC, same abbreviation, but different companies altogether, I think. And Mac OS sees that as an external. It gave it a weird icon, which I'll demonstrate in a little bit. Yeah. Oh. Okay. This bar that goes across here is holding the CPU card down in place, and it's also 2 more slots for hard drives. This over here holds 2 over here, and you've got your 1 up top here has 2 bottom mounted screws to hold 1 there too. You've got 3 5¼ inch drive bays, which one is holding, I would guess, I'm going to hazard a guess is to say it's probably 24X and not original to the machine. Yeah. Again, 300 watt power supply. I'm probably going to switch that out too because it's an older ATX power supply, and I can probably find a semi-newer one within my collection that's about maybe a few years newer that'll have better amperages on the 3.3 and 5 volt rails. 12 volt I'm not too concerned about. Yeah, so 384 megs of RAM, 18 gig hard drive up there now, and that's pretty much just cluttering everything into that hard drive from the 6 gig into 2 gig as well. The 1 gig drive has a copy of macOS on it as well, and that is the backup drive, because you can't not have more than 1 copy of macOS on your stuff in this day and age for older systems. It would take me forever to find a vanilla copy of macOS 9. And I've got the Twin Turbo 2, not Twin Turbo 2, Twin Turbo 128M8, the USB card, SCSI card, and this little gem. I don't know if you can make it out or not. Let's just zoom right in there. See what that says? Oh yeah. That is an Accelerate Mach Speed G3 upgrade, 400 megahertz with a 1 meg cache. There is no cache card currently on the board because of this cache. Me likey. It's got a piss quality speaker in the front, sort of piss quality. It's got the long board guide rails, and yeah, it's a speedy little Mac clone for what it is. I've had to replace 2 fans, the exhaust fan and the CPU fan, because they both had a case of death rattle. And yeah, it runs. It runs pretty nicely. In fact, I'll just leave this here and press the power button. Now the fun thing with this is that it does not boot the first time you press the power button. I have to actually press the reboot button on the front of the panel in order to get anything on the screen. That's something interesting that I've just found. We'll let that boot up. Here's the machine in the front. CD drive, floppy drive. Running macOS 9.1 now. It boots up pretty fast. I'm running this at like 1152 by 870. Also put in a new clock battery, so it is keeping correct time, although I do also have it set to do network time. Here's the this is the 1 gig, contents of the 1 gig. I've got a couple of screenshots that I took and some other stuff, and that's going to be going on, they went on that. I'm going to put that in the description, I guess, too. I tried flashing a Radeon 7000 that I had to Mac Edition, but turns out I have to do it through a PC running a DOS boot disk first, that of which I don't really want to set up too much. Nothing too fancy on this one. It's pretty much, again, just the backup drive. Half a gig available, pretty much, almost. Just a little bit more. And here's everything else. Yeah. More screenshots. Other stuff. What do we got up here? Simearth. It's a little, oh, wow, don't you think? That works, though. I don't have any games on here or anything yet. This is pretty much a... This is all pretty much a carbon copy of what was on the PowerMac 6500 to a certain extent. I pretty much merged the system folder from the 6500 from before I made the 9.1 and 9.2.1, 9.2.2 updates. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this on 9.1 or if I'm going to go all the way into 9.2.1 and 2.2. I'm just going to keep it here. It runs pretty speedy right now, but I don't know if I'm going to even get any sort of enhancement if I go up to 9.2 or anything like that. Or I just don't see a point. It's got a nice snappy G3, faster than any of the G3s I've ever used have. I do have an iMac G3 500 someplace to snow, but not really. HD 400 backup was some backup of a PowerMac 6500. Here it is, Mac 6100. Some stuff. Interesting. These are all quizzes and exams and stuff. Looks like someone was teaching something with nuclear stuff and some other stuff. Bunch of fonts. I'm gonna have to integrate those into the system too. I love me some fonts. Not really much else happening here. I've got Photoshop. Of course it's not going to work. Going well, hello. just fine. Yay! So Photoshop works. Of course. You have to do it from the menu. Ooh. Interesting. It's not clippy. It's not clippy at all. It does work. It does work quite well. So. I don't know. That's all from someone else's stuff from before I got this. Norton antivirus. That's gotta account for something. I don't know if that thermal, the thermistor for whatever that is even correct. It's gone around from 10 degrees Celsius all the way up to 20. The heatsink is ice cold, but the laws of thermodynamics say that it shouldn't be running that cold. Yeah. But I guess anything's possible. And aside from that, got Gauge Pro here, which is a newer technology thing. And it also says 10 degrees Celsius, which is very interesting again. It's not that hot down here though. Can't be running any colder than room temperature pretty much. But it does see it as a PowerTower Pro. So, we're at least in the right ballpark here. Phone's ringing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I'm gonna delve into it. There's not really much else to show here, aside from that it's running and it's pretty much got all the same programs as the 6500 now, save for some games. Yeah, there's really nothing. I'm gonna have some fun with this, and maybe I'll make another video about it. But yeah, that's it. I do also want to quickly point out that I did pick this machine up at the thrift shop on Sunday. And I don't usually go to the thrift shop on Sunday, but I was tipped off that this machine was there by fellow YouTuber vwestlife. So he said, hey, this is over at the thrift shop over here, so you should consider going over there and checking it out. There's no price tag on it, but yada yada yada, this and that. So I went over and I told him that I was there yesterday and it was put back out without a price again, and the guy said, yeah, sure, I'll take care of it. And 3 minutes later it had a $20 price sticker on it, and I got it for $10 because it was 50% off day because of Labor Day. So yeah, I think for $10 I did pretty good. It's definitely $5 less than I paid for the 6500, which, as far as I'm concerned, is a completely inferior machine to this. I mean, this is everything that I've hoped and dreamed for in a Mac. And look, it's got 6 PCI slots. I can do shit with that. I can put a 10100 card in. I can put an ATA controller in. I can put SATA in this thing if I wanted to. And it could be, like, so much better than it could be. I could run Linux on this. Because OS 9, for all it cares, there's a system profiler. All it cares sees that, but it sees that as a workgroup server 9650 underneath Power Macintosh 9500 series. So it sees it as 2 model names. So I could run, I mean, hell, I could run AUX on this, I think. Or, not AUX, AIX, whatever the frig Apple wanted people to run on those. I mean, hey, it's great. It works great. I'm happy with it. I am going to have to figure stuff out as far as what I'm going to be doing in the future, because that 1 gig drive I'm definitely going to take back out and probably put that off to the side so I have a backup drive away from the machine. But it otherwise works perfectly. Definitely going to see about an IDE card, because I can't stand the whine that these SCSI drives put off, and it's not even a server, it's just a Mac clone. So yeah. But that's the weird icon it gives it. And I'm thinking that it thinks it's an external drive of some sort. There's a normal one for comparison. Let's see if I can just zoomed out. Yeah, that wasn't even zoomed in, it was zoomed out. So it sees that, it sees my mouse on the USB hub that I have hooked to on the KVM switch. And it does not detect the EDID of my monitor, so it can't give me a proper resolution for it. It can only guess. So, yeah. Running an 1152 by 870 instead of 1680 by 1050. But there's all the information that you may or may not need to know. For all I know, it's probably an 8 meg card. But it's better than a Rage 128. That of which I'm probably going to put into this thing, because I can't flash my 9250, I found out, and my 7000 I'm not even going to bother with. I'm going to keep that for the PowerEdge 2300 when I get that back up and running and not full of shit and actually cleaned up. Been putting it off for a while because I've just been sick, and when I'm not sick I'm tired, and when I'm not tired I'm sick, and when I'm not sick I'm running errands for people. And now with my car broken down again with its transmission apparently going, that of which I'm not going to delve into too much because I've got my replacement already set off to the side, and I just need to get it put in, this corpse Corolla. Yeah, it's just been a little weird. Huh? Okay, so that's about it. That's all I have time for in here. My battery says I'm low, so I'm going to let it go off on that, and yeah, that's it. And as the last thing, take a look at that stamp. That's quality right there. So until next time, folks, you got a comment, leave a comment. If you don't worry, it's okay. We'll see you next time. Or not.